Hi guys, welcome. So today's video will be a showcase of a mod called Doors and Things by oddlittleturtle. I'll go around and I'll explain a few things about these objects, and I will also show you how to place some of the harder objects right at the end of the video. These four pieces here can be found in Resources Miscellaneous. The first three are decontamination pieces as well. One of them is just decoration, but they also all provide happiness for your settlement. These next pieces here you'll find in structures under doors. The first lot are normally load screen doors. Those references have been removed and they are basically just sort of extra decoration pieces for us. There are minor functions on them, but essentially useless to use as a door, so just decorations. These next lot are all static doors. So here we have the diner counter doors. I put that diner counter in there myself just to show you there, but if you're sick of putting clutter in those, or you've wanted some of these doors just for that extra bit of look for your build, then we've got those. These doors over here I think are the subway cart doors. Here we have the safe and some of the safe doors. I really like this. We don't have those individual doors otherwise, and I don't particularly like the container version with the door closed all the time, or just having one that's sort of been left open. It's nice to know that I'll be able to stick some doors half open onto those. This particular door here, you're going to want to be cautious with this one. It's one of those objects that has no collisions and it remains static as well. If you don't have a mod called Scrap That Commonwealth, do not place this object in your game. You won't be able to delete it. Scrap All the Things may scrap this door, but I'm not too sure. I haven't tried that out. So place this door at your own risk. If you don't have the relevant scrap mods to be able to get rid of it, you're going to be stuck with it. The other problem it has is after it's been placed, sometimes if you get the Place Anywhere post onto it straight away, you will be able to visually see it move around to where you want to place it. But apart from that, after a little while, or after you exit workshop and then come back in, that visuals will remain static. So if you try and move that, you won't be able to see where it's been moved to. So here we have a couple of arches that have been added in as well. There's something a little bit different there. It's also nice to have a subway piece now for the subway doors that we've got, since they've got the round corners. They never sort of really fit into any of the other pieces that we've had previously. So these doors here are functional. We've got the castle armory door. We've also got the Institute lasers. With the Institute lasers, what happens physically is different to what happens visually. It looks like the lasers turn on and off, but it behaves more like a sliding door. So when you've opened it up, it slides across here. So what I'm getting at there is, if you sink all of these pieces into the doorway, you're not going to be able to activate the lasers again. So if you are going to sink all of these, you want to try and plan to have part of this invisible area accessible to, able to make that function still. Alright, so here we have the Space Needle cage door. That's from Nuka World, where you find the quantum power armor. And we also have the exterior door for that Space Needle building there as well. These are more pieces that Turtle's added for herself as well, but feel free to use them. A couple of things to keep in mind: these end parts of the rail disappeared, so you might want to get another piece of rail in there to sort of hide that, or find some sort of capping for the ends of those. And the same thing occurs on the outer side of those walls, so you'll just have to plan to use some other pieces to hide all of that sort of stuff. This piece here can be found in structures under miscellaneous. It has the activate command, but don't worry, it was not added to be a functional object. It is a static object, and as far as I'm aware of, this one can't be made functional for us anyway, so yeah, just decoration for that piece. Under resources water, you'll find 2 artesian wells, a green one and a black one, and that's great that Turtles added those with colour. I don't know about you guys, but you get a little bit sick of seeing the standard yellow that all of this sort of stuff comes in, so thanks for that, Turtle. You will also find this water tank in there as well. All 3 of those water pieces require 10 power, and they produce 50 water each. So she's also added a generator as well. It produces 50 power. So because of the PlayStation 4 restrictions, all of the connectors are at the base of these. And so a problem you might find with that is if you place it over a floor, when you go to connect a wire, it will instantly have collision problems. So what you need to do there, whether you are dealing with your generator or with the wells or the water tank, raise them up in the air. Connect your wire, and then place them back down using your place anywhere post, of course. Alright, so one issue you might run into there is sometimes you might end up with the wire strung across where you connected it after you've put these back down with the place anywhere post. If that does happen to you, it's quite an easy fix. Just grab your wire with X, press circle to cancel, and the wire will go where it's supposed to go. Okay, so another thing, if you're just going to be placing these over dirt, then you don't need to worry about the collisions, because there are no collisions with the wires with the dirt that can't be scrapped. So your main map weld dirt, these pieces here still may work as an obstruction, so just keep that in mind, so we can connect all of these straight away that way. Okay, next thing you'll notice is that it's saying that it requires power even though it's connected to the generator. That's because you need to activate this generator. Once you've done that, you'll have power. Okay, these next pieces you will find in decorations, Nuka World Dry Rock Gulch. So that's the rocks and these cliff edge mounds as well that have the flat tops. So with the rocks, I'll cover them in a second. So now we'll move on to the few objects that are in this that might be a little bit tricky for people to place or work out. So with these ones here, you need to place them at the hatch. You'll have to move your camera up and down a little bit until you get it green. Once you've placed them, you'll have to use your place anywhere post on those to get them into position. This particular piece here is too high to place at ground level. So you'll need to have yourself an elevated area like a set of stairs or anything high enough to get you roughly that height higher, so then you can place this object. And again, at the hatch you want to place this one. Okay, so this object here has a bit of a weird collision. If I pick it up here, or when you pull it out of your build menu, you'll go, where the hell is it? You'll see that I had placed there still. That's because it's got a bit of a weird collision going on there. You'll just have to get your place anywhere post to sort that one out after you get it down. So larger object placement, for people that aren't aware with how to deal with these sorts of objects, I will cover that now. So first thing you'll notice is you've got the object out, you're trying to place it, but all it wants to do is go through the ground. That's because with these objects you need to be elevated to a certain height before the ground collision thing will pop up. So what I do is I will set up my stairs, and as you walk up to the stairs, have the object down into the ground and it will pop up once you get to the height. So that's the minimum height at which you need to be to place that object. I always set up 3 to 4 stairs to make things easier for myself. It ensures that I'm above the height that it needs to be placed at, and also means when I do this by holding L1 and X. For anyone that doesn't know, they're your advanced controls. Hold L1 and X to raise an object. Hold X to move it on a different axis without having to move your camera. And so as you can see, I can see quite easily what I'm doing now. The other thing you need to remember is that you need a large enough ground area to put that down on, and it also has to be flat enough for what is required for a particular object. Now this one can be a little bit trickier for people. You need to be somewhere between 3 and 4 stories high for that. And what I mean by that as well is that bit of dirt in the background that I just placed that archway one on is 1 floor higher than this place that I'm at here. So technically that stair doesn't exist, and I would only be 3 stairs high trying to place this over there, which won't work because you need to be a little bit higher than that. So again, I'll raise that up in the air, but this time I'll also hold X and move it forward a little bit. And now with these bit more of a pain objects, you'll find that it can be tricky to find a spot to actually get those down. So what I do is I'll hold down my R2 or my L2 button and keep spinning the object until you can see the green pop up, and just keep moving it over bits of terrain until you find a place at which it can be placed, and then deal with it the rest of the way with the place anywhere post. This one here is much easier. It requires you to be at either dead ground level or slightly higher than the rock. If you are below, it will just go through the ground like the other pieces, but level or slightly above, and you won't have any problems with getting this one down. Okay, so if you are at a settlement where the terrain's no good to get any of this sort of stuff down and you do want it down, I do have a couple of tutorials that you can go and look at there to explain how to do that. It's using the QwaPA tools and an exploit I discovered with that. It's quite simple to do. If you want to know how to take the big yellow bridge lifts and things like that, then watch the video called QwaPA exploit. It goes over all of that. If you would like a much quicker video just to figure out how to get these sort of rocks and other large objects into locations you can't normally get them into, then watch the one that is called Buildable Water Anywhere Made Easy. And even though it's water being used in that video, the same rules apply for it. So I do suggest pay careful attention to that video as well. There are certain things that you need to do specifically for it to work for you in the first place. So that's all from me for the objects in this mod. I will mention, if you see people struggling with this sort of stuff, give them a bit of a hand or point them out to any videos that might show them how to solve their problems. One thing the mod authors really get sick of is people asking the same questions over and over and over again, especially when they've been covered in their descriptions and things like that. So if you don't want your mod authors to get burnt out and you would like them to keep producing good mods for us, then try and help them out a little bit and relieve a little bit of that pressure. So that's all from me, and I will see you on the next video.